Hi, I'm Jessica Bowden, and today I'm here with my learning partner, Julianne Fanning, to talk about constructivist learning environments. Our presentation features the example of Hive Helsinki, a post-secondary coding school in Helsinki, Finland. First, let's start with some epistemology, our overarching theories about learning and how knowledge is created. One way to learn about the topic, like constructivism, is to compare it to something that approaches the topic in a different way. In this case, objectivism. Objectivism and constructivism are generally considered to be opposite ends of a continuum, illustrating extremes in learning epistemologies. So what is objectivism? In simple terms, there is an objective reality that we as learners assimilate. In more detail, knowledge is portrayed as an entity that exists independently of the individual and the instructional or learning context, so that knowledge is separate from the individual's experience. In other words, there's only one way to know or do something. In the objectivist world, there is only one way to tie your shoes. By contrast, constructivist learners create their own meanings by consciously experiencing or interacting with the environment. In greater detail, that means that reality is more in the mind of the knower. The knower constructs reality, or at least interprets it, based upon their own apperceptions. What are apperceptions? They're the mental process of understanding something based on one's previous experiences and perceptions. So there are multiple ways to know or do something in constructivism, and they can each be equally correct based upon your own experiences. In the constructivist world, there are many ways to tie your shoes, and you as the learner decide which way works best for you. Over time and in different contexts and after new experiences, you can even decide to choose a new best way to tie your shoes. So now that we understand some basics about objectivism and constructivism, let's compare how they differ in the way knowledge is created, in the role of the learner, the role of the instructor, and implications for structuring learning. We already know that objectivism considers knowledge to be external to the learner, something outside the learner, while constructivism believes that knowledge is determined by the learner. It's an internal process. On the objectivist side of the continuum, the learner is a passive recipient of information and is expected to respond to a stimulus in a very specific way. The instructor interprets what events mean for the learner. They are the ultimate knower of information, and in that role, instructors provide stimulus and reinforcement to transmit or imprint the one true knowledge on the learner. This type of learning may bring to mind Pavlov's dog or the mouse that presses a lever to obtain food. That's because conditioning is an example of objectivism. It uses reinforcement and rewards to encourage the proper stimulus response or to strengthen existing behaviors. It also relies on punishment to stop learners from continuing to use their existing behaviors or responses. On the constructivist side of the continuum, learners are primary meaning makers. They actively negotiate their own personal perception with the external world to make their own meanings. They take ownership in their learning process and actively construct their own knowledge. Teachers are facilitators, guides, coaches, and mentors in the sense that they analyze the strategies that could be used to solve real-world problems. And then through the learning environments they create and the support they give the learners, learners construct their own knowledge. Instructors are guides on the side. The teachers provide open-ended learning environments, also known as constructivist learning environments, to support a variety of constructivist learning theories and their associated pedagogical models. Models such as situated learning, problem-based learning, cognitive apprenticeships, and learning communities. So when we apply objectivist principles to a learning environment, what does the objectivist learning environment look like? Learners learn one single perception of reality, which is provided by the instructor. Teachers simplify instruction so that learners learn easier tasks first and gradually build to more difficult ones. Learners regurgitate knowledge given to them, interpreted for them by their teachers. Learners follow predetermined instructional sequences. Knowledge creation is not context or content dependent. Learners lack control over their own learning, and learners often compete for recognition. A constructivist learning environment will look very different from the objectivist one. Jonason describes 8 characteristics. The learning environment will facilitate learner control of the exploration of real-world environments, which represent the natural complexity of the real world, will provide multiple perspectives of reality, will support collaborative construction of knowledge through social negotiation, both with other learners and the instructor who coaches or mentors them. It will focus on learners' knowledge construction based on internal processes and utilizing their existing mental models and knowledge. Will foster reflective practice. Will provide real-world case-based problems. Will present authentic tasks in an authentic context, requiring the use of problem-solving methods appropriate to that context. And it will enable context and content-dependent knowledge construction for the learner. Jonason summed up the key differences by saying that constructivist learning designs are process-oriented, while objectivist learning designs are product-oriented. We have now outlined the theoretical principles and instructional characteristics of constructivist learning environments. We've contrasted these to the theoretical principles and instructional characteristics of objectivist learning environments. And now Julianne will share our example of a technology-supported constructivist learning environment. Hive Helsinki. Thank you.
For our CLE case study, we chose Hive Coding School in Helsinki, Finland, because of how we see it embracing constructivist theory and practice in the way it designed and now delivers on its promise to empower students to code their future. Hive Coding School is a radically new concept in higher education. The school's award-winning service design aims to attract a diverse array of students from all walks of life into the coding field. Hive believes education should be inclusive and accessible, that coding is a new form of literacy shaping our future, and that we owe it to our youth to offer new learning alternatives and paths that can give them the tools to solve the problems of tomorrow. Hive models itself on France's well-known School 42, which today has coding schools around the world, including Silicon Valley. 42 is a cherished reference for fans of British novelist Douglas Adams' popular series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in which scientists ask a megacomputer, what is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything? After many years, the computer returns the answer, 42. That's when the scientists realize that they failed to fully articulate the question. 42 schools understand that in our fast-changing world, authentic questions are more useful than computed answers. In the Hive curriculum, all learning is peer-to-peer, project-based, time-flexible, game-based, real-world situated, and within an inclusive community. Hive courses have no assigned teachers. All learning and evaluation is peer-to-peer. Seeking and sharing knowledge happens through peer-led teamwork and communication, discovery, reflection, presentation, and assessment. Pedagogical teams ensure learning environments work and students are progressing. Hive's curriculum consists of 100 projects, along with 2 internships and some quests. 100% project-based learning promotes active exploration of real-world challenges and critical thinking to invent solutions. Hive students learn by doing, and in so doing, they learn to learn. Hive curriculum has no preset schedules or timelines. Facilities are open 24/7, and students complete not only their projects, but also their degree at their own individual pace. Hive students choose their own path through the curriculum map, which is shaped like a tree and operates as a game. By completing projects, students may progress along the tree's many branches, and each progression unlocks new learning paths, specializations, resources, and opportunities, such as internships. Hive cultivates collaboration with companies and organizations who embrace coding as a core business driver. Projects are designed by industry professionals who appear as guest speakers, and students can participate in industry-led hackathons and workshops, enabling them to move easily between school and work settings, including when they take on professional internships at two critical junctures in their program progression. Hive ardently promotes inclusiveness. An open mindset and passion to work collaboratively and creatively in coding projects are the only requirements to belong to its learning community that welcomes all backgrounds and orientations: cultural, educational, professional, gender, economic. To support economic diversity, tuition is 100% free to all students. Hive even extends its constructivist orientation to its admissions process, where there is no prerequisite to apply, and they admit all candidates who successfully complete a 4-week program they call a piscine. Piscine means swimming pool. Candidates work non-competitively in teams to help each other learn to swim. To summarize, the key characteristics of constructivist learning environments are each exhibited in one or more of the pillars of Hive's concept. As shown in this matrix, Hive's entirely peer-to-peer, inclusive learning community, the orange column, and game-based flexible progression, the purple column, work together to ensure that the learner is in control and integrates multiple perspectives to construct knowledge collaboratively through social negotiation. And Hive's project-based curriculum, the blue column, which is based on real-world problems, the green column, requires learners to construct knowledge based on substantial reflection on experience. And task teams must construct content-dependent knowledge to address authentic tasks in authentic contexts. Constructivist learning principles play an important role throughout Hive's learning life cycle, beginning when candidates enter Hive's immersive admissions process, continuing as students follow a flexible, game-like progression through a realistic, project-based peer learning curriculum, and becoming ongoing as postgraduates participate in a dynamic, lifelong learning community. To end with a metaphor from the Hitchhiker's Guide, Hive graduates are well prepared to be successful, happy hitchhikers in any galaxy that opens up to them. For die-hard hitchhiker fans, I'll add, grab a towel and let's go!